Hey guys, today we are discussing about generative text and speech models. The overview of generating text and speech models exploring their underlying principles and architecture and application and future directions. It covers various model type including variation auto encodes, generative adversarial networks and transformer based models and highlighting their strength and weakness in generating realistic and coherent text and speech. The why generative models for text and speech means data augmentation, creating content generation, text to speech, and unsupervised learning and anomaly detection. The data augmentation means generative models can be used to create synthetic data to augmented training data sets, especially when real data is scarce. Creative content generation, they can generate novel text formats like poems, scripts, articles, and even code. In speech, they can synthesize new voice, modify existing ones, or create music. The TTS and STT have generating models are fundamental to modern TTS and STT systems, enables more natural and expansive speech synthesis and more accurate speech recognition. The unsupervised learning models can learn and meaningful representations from enabled data which is abundant in the form of and audio. The anomaly detection, by learning the normal distribution of data, generative models can identify anomalies of outliers. Types of generative models are various autoencodes, generative adversarial networks, and transform based models. This is the types of generative models. First, we are discussing about the variational autocodes having uh, the VAE or probabilistic generating models that learn a lateral representations of data. They consist of an encoders that maps the input data to a latent space and a decode that reconstructs the data from the latest representation. So the encoder outputs the parameters of probability distributions in the latest space. The decoder samples from the distribution and generates of the output. Advantages have the well-defined latent space. Well-defined latent space allowing for smooth interpretation and manipulations of the generating data. Relatively stable training compared to GANs. The disadvantages of this data means generated sample can sometimes be blurry or less sharp than this produced GANs. The application of text and speech is the generating text with controlled attributes. Example: sentiment, style, speech synthesis, and voice conversion. Generative adversarial networks have the consist of two neural networks, a generator and discriminator. The generator tries to create the realistic data sample while the discriminator tries to distinguish between real and generation samples. The two networks are transmitted in an adversarial manner. The generator is trained to fool the discriminator. The discriminator is trained to correctly classify real and generated samples. The adversarial process drives both networks to improve. Advantages and disadvantages of generative adversarial networks are: advantages is can generate high realistic and sharp data samples. The disadvantages is the training can be unstable and difficult to coverage, and also mode collapse can be problem. The application of the text and speech is the text to speech synthesis with high naturalizations. and speech enhancement and noise reduction, generating realistic text for chatbots and virtual assistants. Transformer based model means transformer models rely on the attention mechanism to weigh the importance of different parts of the input sequence. When generating the output sequences, they are particularly well suited for sequences to sequence task. The training transformers are the typically trained using the maximum likelihood objective, maximizing the probability of the target and the sequences of the input sequences. The advantages of the transformer based model is the excellent performance, ability to capture and parallelizable training. The disadvantages is the highly computational cost and can be data hungry, requiring large amount of training data. The application of generative text to speech model is the text generation, speech and synthesis, text and voice conversion, speech enhancement, data augmentation. This is the application of the text generation model. Challenges and future directions is the improving the quality and the naturals of the generated text and speech, controlling the attributes of generated data, reducing the computational cost of training and interface, addressing the ethical concerns related to the use of generative models. So, developing the more efficient methods for training generative models and limited data, creating more personalized and adaptive generative models. The conclusion of the generative text to speech models have made a significant progress in recent years, enabling a wide range of application VAS, GANs, and transform based models, each for unique strength and weakness. Continued research and development in this field promise to further improve the quality and control and accessibility of generated text and speech, leading to even more innovative application in the future. Thanks for this opportunity.